Hey everybody, Ryan here. I'm here with Mr. Jeff Dabe from Minnesota, right?
Correct.
What city in Minnesota?
Stacy.
Stacy, Minnesota. And this is just before our upcoming super match. And we're just going to talk about a few things. Now, Jeff, one of the things that I want to talk to you about right off the bat is you don't have like what you would consider to be a typical build for a mat. So
no.
what do you attribute that to? What is?
I was just born with it.
Yeah.
They never did figure out a reason why. It's just the way I was developed. Kind of worked out. I'm strong, but I'm lucky. I'm kind of a little bit more uniform, top to bottom. My right foot is bigger than my left. My left hand is bigger than my right. It kind of equals out. So kind of blessed that way.
So you have found, and we apologize for the amount of noise in the background. We're in the middle of a mall, so we're trying to get this done. And it's closed, but they're doing a lot of stuff in the background. So you've taken these gifts and you've transitioned them into a career in arm wrestling.
Yes.
So when did that all start?
I started my senior year in high school. Our wrestling coach took us, all of us, over to they were doing like a little charity to raise money for something in town. I don't remember what it was. And it was an arm wrestling event. And I went there and beat all the kids I wrestled with. And the guys putting it on, I beat them too. So they talked me into start doing their events. And so I did it for about 5 years, 80 to 85. Back then, I didn't get beat left hand. Right hand, I got beat and ended up ruining my right elbow.
Okay, so that would explain why you're only a left-handed arm wrestler at the moment.
Yes.
Okay, so what is, let me ask you, what significant things have you accomplished in the sport?
I won a lot of state tournaments, a couple nationals. I haven't been to Worlds yet. I beat a few good guys.
Yeah, and I know that you got a goal coming up.
Yeah, I'd like to try to go to Worlds this year. Try to qualify to go to Worlds.
So Worlds in Poland is what's on the horizon.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do to prepare yourself for an event? What do you do for training?
I try about once a week, work out with our guys in the area. Otherwise, I just work with a band at home, just to work on more conditioning, keep everything tight. It's easier on the joints. Mm-hmm. Plus, I run loader all day, steering all day. Most people don't think that's a workout, but when you do it for 10 hours, 11 hours a day, it gets to be a workout because you're always, it's a full steer, so you're always, it's keeping the blood flowing to everywhere.
Right.
It actually feels really good after a long weekend of arm wrestling. Get back in there Monday, it stretches everything all back out.
Fantastic. I mean, I don't have a physical job, but I sit behind a desk most of the time, but it sounds like you get a lot out of your work.
Yes, there's shoveling involved. Plus, we have a hobby farm, so that keeps me busy, shoveling the shit out of the barn.
Yeah, right on.
So,
I heard that you, or I've seen that you, there was some stuff with the World Arm Wrestling League a couple of years back. Can you take us back to that a little bit and touch a little bit on that?
When we buy some stuff.
You weren't competing with them for some reason, or it was?
Well, it was contracts and stuff.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And I have a little beef with the head ref.
Oh, okay.
So,
do you want to talk about that, or are we going to leave that alone?
Well, I mean, I can, but I don't know if it's good or bad.
Right.
My problem is, I don't mind losing. Make it fair. If you're going to have a ref and he's going to play favoritism, I don't have no time of day for that.
Yeah. I completely understand that.
When you call a ref on it out in front of everyone, they don't like that.
No, they don't.
You know? So I don't have a problem losing, but be fair.
Here comes the garbage cart, so we're going to just pause for a couple of seconds until it gets past us. So what's the goal? What's the long-term vision for us, and where do you think we're at as a sport?
I'd like to see it keep growing. I think you got all your big names out there that are really well established, but I think to keep it growing, you need to start throwing some spotlight on the young ones coming up. Give them a little bit more, spotlight. That say, hey, they're working, they're coming. And I think that would help keep the young guys involved.
Yeah.
I know everyone likes money, but sometimes it's just a little bit of video time or TV time, that, gets that little motivation, The money will come, I think, if you get to like the level you're at doing the world. I don't know, worlds don't pay nothing, but in Moldavia, and once you get to a level, you get people to ask you to come and do things, then you start getting a little bit of money back. I do it just for fun and the enjoyment of it.
So, yeah, in fairness, I feel like I'm constantly just scratching the surface of that. I'll get through a little bit of a door and then another one will close, but where do you see 5 years from now? Where are we going to be?
I wish we could figure out how to keep it going towards the Olympics, but I don't know how we could do that. Because the issue with the Olympics is drugs, or
well, they do drug tests at the Worlds.
They do?
They do, but it's a very limited number of tests. It's random, and it is on one day, the day that you win the event. So you may get tested if you place top 3, but the chances of you actually getting tested are pretty slim.
How about they go with the idea of where they have ones that are enhanced, just like they do bodybuilding? Don't they have natural and enhanced ones?
They do, and it's kind of the understanding, I think unofficially, that WAF is not for enhanced athletes. Well, kind of everything else is. Mm-hmm. That being said, guys still fail the drug tests, and people still get caught, which is interesting, because I'm going to go off on a bit of a rant. I'll try not to do that, but they can detect now up to a picogram of banned substance in your system. So they're getting way better at catching people. So that's a good thing for our sport.
Yes.
The only bad thing behind it is the cost of doing the testing. It's very cost prohibitive, especially if you're going to do it at a national level, with not a lot of government subsidies in Canada and the United States. Mm-hmm. It's very hard for us to get to that and pay for those tests. So it's fortunately not probably going to happen for a while.
No, I understand that. I mean, all sports have it. It's just they play the odds.
They do play the odds. That's definitely a thing that happens all the time, and that's why people get caught, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, everyone has a choice of what they want to do. I'm more lucky where I don't have, I was fairly strong off the gate. I don't know, what do you think? Where would you like to see it go?
When I started, I mean, I always said that if arm wrestling became an Olympic sport, it would be something that would probably take a year off of work to prepare for. But knowing what I know now, for me to take an entire year just to train for arm wrestling would probably be a waste, because I don't need that much time in my day to train and recover. And to say that I could just spend the whole day training is foolish. But I mean, that's a great dream. That's a great dream. Yeah. And unfortunately, it seems to be not so much about how good the sport is for that event, but it seems to be just more of a political decision or a financial decision to not allow one of the oldest sports known to man to be into the Olympic Games.
I agree.
Yeah. So it's a shame.
Yes.
But hopefully, in our lifetime, we see it at least as a spectator sport.
Yeah, they've been talking about it since I was young. They were working at getting in the early 80s and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just never seems to progress.
And if that happens, you'll see a completely different pool of athletes that you may not see at some of the pro events coming in to compete, because you sat as a different ball game. Once you're in there, there's out-of-meet testing and there's all kinds of that stuff. So it's it levels the playing field for the natural athlete.
Do you think injuries take more toll on the sport, where it's hard for people to stay long-term in it?
My personal experience is I've had 21 years in the sport, and I think I'm at my best right now. So it's I've had some injuries, but I think as long as you take care of yourself properly, barring anything catastrophic, I think that you can stay in the sport for a very long time, more than any other sport.
I agree. my opinion, I think a guy's 40s is probably their strongest.
Yeah, I heard.
Because you also got, you use more, you think more. When you're young, it's just balls to the wall.
When I was this morning, I listened to the Arm Hub series.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Devin being past his, or on the downward slope of his prime. And Devin's like 43 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that counting a guy out because he lost one match to a guy that arguably nobody can beat is a little unfair, but it seems to be that the mid-40s and late 40s guys start to get really strong. Like take Tim Bresnan, for example. He did not start arm wrestling until he was 38 years old. I mean, that guy, I pulled him early in his career, and I pulled him a little bit later. Dramatically improved and super strong, and now in his 50s and competing in major events overseas and professional events. But you're right, it comes later.
I think you get more of that depth strength where it's, you know, where when you're young you get more of the injuries on the soft tissues, and I think your body gets seasoned to it. Plus you pull smarter too, I think.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and if you get to listen to what your body's telling you, and you can adapt that way.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that one.
How do you see the match going today?
I'm hoping I can hang with you for a while.
That's a fair statement, and I sure hope the same for myself.
I feel you might have a little advantage with a little bit of the age and training, but if I just stay focused on myself, that should help me a lot.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, Jeff, and
yeah, I'm honored to call you.
It's going to be a good one today, and hopefully we give the crowd some entertainment.
I agree.
Right on. Thanks.